Smoke billowed yesterday, seeing as the cardinals failed to elect the new pope yesterday on day one of the conclave. We are still watching the space as we follow through to have an end to the conclave and see the new pope after the passing of Pope Francis. But good morning, Uganda. My name is Julie Nantabamusisi. I am with Robert Chiravo Nyonyintono. Good morning. Thank you so much for choosing to join UBC TV on this Thursday morning that is considered a throwback Thursday, as you've enjoyed some of the music right before we started. Good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you, Judy. How I wish the black smoke signified that they have come to an agreement and they have elected a pope, and the white smoke signified that they have still failed to have a conclusive vote.
See, I think you now understand why I suggested, but that perhaps green or red smoke would.
Because this black and white,
yeah,
well knowing we are blacks and some people are white, I don't feel comfortable as a pure African man.
Well, I think I wouldn't say it in that perspective, but I would say it in the perspective of the history. The history, the church history itself, it's dealt with a bit of racism in there and connotations in the history of humanity where black represents bad and sided to the African, and white represents supremacy or a savior mentality and is aligned to someone of a Caucasian color or someone who's lighter. In that narrative of our history as humans.
Just take me back to Sunday school. I had never seen a white devil in any of the books we were reading. Every time the devil had to be black.
Interesting
the
though.
Angels had to be white.
Interesting though that the Bible doesn't paint the devil as black. If anything, the devil is a morning star. I wonder where the connotations began from. But anyway, that aside, the important issue is who shall be the next pope. Shall it be an African? I still hope so, but over to you, Robert.
Let me leave the pope issues and we just wait. We hope that sooner or later we shall have a new pope, because they are there in the conclave and what is happening is voting. I like the way they are disarmed of any communication gadget, internet, anything. So it's just there waiting upon the Lord to select his apostle, because we all know and we all believe that a pope has a special place before the Lord, mostly in the Christian faith, and to be more specific, the Catholics there. Now for me, I want to come back home. I'm saddened by what is happening in my country when it comes to politics, more so the opposition. Yesterday, the Honorable Matthias Mpuga held a press conference and he hit back at the new principal, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, over allegations he made saying that the late Mohamed Segirinya, the late member of parliament for Kawempe North, and Honorable Alan Sewanyana, who happens to be my member of parliament in Machindi, that Honorable Matthias Mpuga, the likes of Abedi Bwanika, were behind their arrest and continued detention. Now, Robert Kyagulanyi called her out, Honorable Alan Sewanyana, and said, come and testify, tell them. But I'm sorry to say this, but I felt he was being coerced to speak what his boss on the political realm wanted to hear. But you would see Honorable Sewanyana, and I felt sympathy for him, trying as much as to say, but being forced, really coerced to come out. You could see the body language. You know, in journalism, one of the things they train us, if you're going to interview someone, read the body language as well. You know when they are lying, you know. So you could see Honorable Sewanyana's body language, speaking something else. But he had to please the principal. Now,
yes,
Honorable Matthias Mpuga comes out and says, for some time I've been quiet, but we can't let things continue this way. And he threatened to take matters to court. But remember, 2026 is here, just around the corner. NRM is having their primaries. Of course, also those ones had challenges. I didn't know that in my own village, we didn't have elections. because they were postponed to today. because of some inconsistencies. In another village just next to me, someone who never went for nominations, and someone rested home knowing he passed through unopposed. He came knowing he was unopposed, only to reach there and he's told, no, there is someone who stood against you. Yet nomination closed and he was clear he had passed through unopposed. So also that had issues. But when we see the opposition that is striving and striving to get power, now having these battles here and there, it doesn't place them in good footing.
What does that paint of the current political scene? Is it more objective or more subjective? We are voting, or the electoral process of everything about politics, covering all of us as Ugandans, is it more subjective, that every decision we make is out of a subjective vantage, in your perspective?
To a certain extent, that is there. But also with commercialization of politics. You see, I come from Uganda. And in Uganda, they used to believe so much in gods. Baruvale, Bamukasa, those things. Now in Uganda, there's what they call a mandwa. I don't know it in English. But what a mandwa does, it can get on someone's head. I'm told, because I've never seen any of this, but I'm told it can get on someone's head, and that person will speak things when it is not him speaking.
They are possessed.
So, they are possessed. So because of commercialization of politics, a person will speak things galinga atulidwako emando, but to protect a ticket, a party ticket. Because he knows these were not yearning, many of them are not yearning to serve Ugandans. But the monies in politics today, Julie, I'm still asking myself up to today, the fights I saw on the 6th, that is on Tuesday, the blows, to some extent even bullets. I mean, what were these people going to get? What are they? Why would I give an arm, a leg? What would be a do or die? For me simply to be a flag bearer of NRM, for me to be a village chairperson. I mean, what is there? But because there is something there, something there, that is why these are not yearning to serve us.
Well, power corrupts, and if it's not guided, it can indeed crush not just an individual, but the whole country. I pray, O Uganda, may God uphold thee, that we get servant leaders at one point in Uganda. We get servant leaders, those who are not just about their parties, but have Uganda at heart first. In fact, God first, who gives them Uganda to steward. But in lighter news for some and somber news for others, the Gunners were knocked out of the Champions League yesterday. I know, Robert, I'm tickling you black right now. But yeah, after the Ruiz and Hakimi goals, when Arsenal had a game with Paris Saint-Germain yesterday, that is last night. And Robert, right now, I hope that the camera could show what he looks like right now. But worry not, I'm also an Arsenal fan, but I don't attach emotions to football. We win, we win, we lose, we lose. But take us away on what's on the local scene.
We'll never forgive you. Anyway.
You shall still support.
Yeah, we are there. It is like a faith to us, but...
What's in the world of local news?
Okay. Let me do my local news here, and I want to start with the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and critically listen to what the President said regarding to what he had just talked about, politics in our country. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni attributed the reoccurring of violence and disruptions seen during the NRM political roadmap to selfish interests and personal ambitions overriding the true purpose of leadership and public service. Speaking from his country home in Rakitura, hours after the NRM party lower level primaries, the president warned Ugandans that Uganda's democracy is at risk if citizens continue to prioritize personal gain over national interest. Museveni expressed concern over what he described as a growing trend of self-seeking politics, saying it threatens the integrity of the political process in Uganda. It was a busy day at FDC headquarters in Najjanankumbi yesterday as supporters gathered to nominate their favorite presidential flag bearers. The first candidate to be nominated was the incumbent Patrick Amriat Oboy at about 3 p.m. After presenting his proof of payment and academic documents. Amriat, who is an engineer by profession, boasts of FDC being the only party that embraces democracy in Uganda. He also called for peaceful internal politics since both of them have known each other and worked for a long time. Amriat later blamed the media for being biased during 2021 general elections, calling for a fair reporting at this time round come 2026. The second candidate to be nominated was the current FDC Secretary General Nandala Mafabi. Nandala, an accountant by profession, says this country needs a new leadership challenging the incumbent Patrick Amriat. The acting FDC president, Caps Fongaror, and chairman of the party, Jack Sabiti, appealed for peaceful internal campaign processes so as to avoid divisions among members. The other three candidates who picked forms last week did not show up. Meanwhile, another aspirant, the third candidate, Dan Masiko, showed up without proof of 5 million payment and with no documents. The nominated candidates, Amriat and Mafabi, will now undertake their consultative meetings across FDC supporters before the delegates conference that comes on the 31st of July. Bukoto Central Member of Parliament Richard Sebalama wants the Democratic Party to provide accountability for the nomination fees for the candidates of DP top leadership. Sebamala said that the set 10 million shillings is meant to lock out several aspirants, more the youth who would love to seek for positions in DP. Sebamala is one of the candidates who want to succeed Norbert Mao as the President General of Democratic Party. And finally, on the local scene, we shall meet in court. This is the message from former leader of opposition, Matthias Mpuuga, to the National Unity Platform. Mpuuga is considering court redress after Kyagulanyi, while addressing a press conference on Tuesday, accused the latter of orchestrating the recent case dubbed Kijambia, which witnessed the detention of members of parliament including Alan Sewanyala and the late Mohamed Segrinya. Mpuuga responded to the claims, describing them as baseless and actions to divert the popularity from the main struggle for change. The political bickering between the former leader of opposition Matthias Mpuuga and National Unity Platform party leader Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is yet to reach its climax. The public has been rendered as seekers, searchers in the hide and seek game between the two political idols. Robert Kyagulanyi on Tuesday addressed a press conference at NUP offices in Kavule, linking his former deputy Matthias Mpuuga of stage managing the detention of MPs including Alan Sewanyana and the late Mohamed Segrinya in the Kijambia case in Masaka district. Mpuuga is not ready to apply silence over the accusation. The Nyendo Mukungwe, Masaka Member of Parliament, was last seen publicly chanting with Robert Kyagulanyi in church, a gesture which was deemed as a beginning of the journey to mend their disagreement. After his fallout with NUP, Mpuuga recently launched a political platform dubbed Democratic Alliance. However, the spirit of his former political party NUP remained haunting him. And with that, we come to the end of our local stories.
You know, there's a saying that when elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. And clearly right now in the opposition,
Yes,
the
Sewanyana
grass is,
suffered.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's sad. Once two people who are close in ideology, shared the same mind, the same goal, and now split.
But are you sure they shared the same goal and the same
Perhaps you could actually share that perspective. I do agree with you.
We go with that. The president has just described our politicians, some of them.
Yes, let's continue on the foreign scene. And as we started, we talked about the first day of the conclave having failed to elect the new pope on day one. Black smoke billowed from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel on Wednesday, meaning that cardinals did not elect a new pope on the first day of the conclave. There is no clear frontrunner to take over leadership of the Roman Catholic Church, and cardinals will continue voting through Thursday in a series of highly secretive ballots until they choose a successor to Pope Francis. Now, 133 voting cardinals have returned to the Santa Marta residence inside the Vatican, where they will remain sequestered. Meanwhile, the rest of the world's 1.4 billion Catholics will have to continue waiting with no hints about the future leader. The cardinals have all taken an oath of secrecy and given up their electronic devices to prevent communication outside the conclave, leaks, or outside surveillance. The cardinals and Vatican staff will only get their phones and devices back once the conclave has ended. And breaking the oath of secrecy results in automatic excommunication from the church. What a law. Now, moving on to matters war, there is a lot of increasing war zones in the world. Around that, we're looking at Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who says, "We will avenge the blood of our innocent martyrs," after at least 31 people were reported killed and dozens wounded in India's attack on Punjab province and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Heavy exchanges of artillery fire have been reported along the line of control dividing Indian and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. India says at least 13 people have been killed and more wounded in Indian-administered Kashmir due to Pakistani fire. And India says Operation Sindhu targeted terrorist infrastructure. Pakistan says missiles hit mosques and killed civilians in a blatant act of war. Tensions have been escalating between the two nuclear-armed countries since a deadly attack in Indian-administered Kashmir's Pahalgam on the 22nd of April, which India blamed on Pakistan, and Pakistan has denied any involvement. Now, coming back to the continent, South African firebrand opposition politician Julius Malema says he has been denied a visa to attend a conference in the UK on the 10th of May. Malema said the UK had no substantial justification for its decision, and he saw it as an attempt to silence a dissenting political perspective. In a leaked letter to Malema's deputy, the UK High Commissioner to South Africa, Anthony Phillipson, said that the Home Office had been unable to process his visa application in time for his trip. Malema, the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters EFF party, is a fierce critique of what he sees as Western imperialism and also advocates the nationalism of white-owned land in South Africa. A Home Office spokesperson told the BBC that they do not comment on individual cases. Now, in a post on X, the EFF said the High Commission had actively delayed the processing and approval of their leader's visa, so that he could not speak at the University of Cambridge on the 10th of May. He had been invited by the university's African Society to address its Africa Together conference, and that is what the EFF added. Well, that brings us to a close of what's on the foreign scene. What's in the press, Robert?
I'll begin with the New Vision this morning, where it is very clear that borders, vendors get cheaper loans. Now, market vendors to benefit from a 8% interest rate loan. Where are they getting this money? Well, the New Vision has that, and we have new commissioned police constables. They are 3,444 that were passed out, displaying some of the skills of what they learned. I see something like summer sorting, how this is, they use that when now fighting crime. So that's summer sorting, something similar to that. If you think you run, they will get you. FDC primaries, Amriyat Nandala nominated. And Ask the Commissioner General of URA, well, there's that slot in the New Vision. And we have First Lady response to Daily Monitor article. Which article is that? The New Vision has more of that. And here we have first vote ends without pop. And the New Vision shows you the black smoke up there. Black smoke that came out indicating that they have not yet come to a conclusion. President Museveni directs on NRM party primaries. The chimney there displaying that smoke. Now, still the New Vision gives you more regarding choir festival, what it takes to win the that is the festival there, and of course a number of tenders for you. Allow me leave the New Vision and quickly look at what the Daily Monitor has this morning. Now, roadworks impact on business. As they're working on roads, what's the impact there? Then Pastor Chris and Lynette Nsubuga sip for that is the lasting love. Well, those in relationships, there's something for you, for people who are experienced there. The Daily Monitor brings that. Now, opinions better a cunning leader than devourer fool. Okay, I don't know what they're trying to mean, but the Daily Monitor has more of that. Advise, how do I walk away from my meal ticket? Well, you can still get more of that in the Daily Monitor this morning. Now let me get a bus to the neighboring country, and here I arrive and get a copy of the Daily Nation. Mystery of call to MPs guard before killing. And the Daily Nation also, lawyer missing, banker and 1.5 billion Equity Bank haste. That is a lot. People are watching movies every day. And still the Daily Nation brings you Katangat on the spot over staff poised as air cash victim's relative. Now I'll quickly go to the Citizens this morning. And in the Citizen, we have revealed key points in new foreign policy. And remembering former premier there who served the nation from 1931 to 2025. Sports budget sour ahead of the 2027 AFCON finals. Brothers there are preparing so much. And appointment. Who is appointed and in which position? The Citizen has that for you. Well, for now, that is what we were able to look through in the print media. But of course, you can get yourself a copy and have more of these stories.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Robert. Now, with all the war zones increasing and a lot of political divide, especially here in Uganda, now that we're looking towards 2026, the general election, one would wonder, where is the love? A throwback from Black Eyed Peas. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Trauma. Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to the then you're bound to get irate. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate, and that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach and would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love?
It just ain't the same, always new change. New days are strange, is the world insane? If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs, chemical gases filling lungs of little ones with ongoing suffering as the youth are young. So ask yourself, is the loving really gone? So I could ask myself, really what is going wrong in this world that we living in? People keep on giving in, making wrong decisions, only visions of them dividends. Not respecting each other, denying thy brother. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. The truth is kept secret, it's swept under the rug. If you never know truth, then you never know love. What's the love, y'all? Come on, I don't know. Where's the truth, y'all? Come on, I don't know. Where's the love, y'all?
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach and would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? The love?
I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, your people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinemas, yeah. Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. It's no wonder why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my faith alive till love is found. Now ask yourself,
Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Father, 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 help us, send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning, where is the love?
sing with me, y'all.
One word, we only got one word, that's all we got. One word, and something's wrong with it, something's wrong with it, something's wrong with the world, yeah. We only got one word, that's all we got. One word.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable. Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
Ah, no, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you for choosing UBC TV. My name is Julie Nantabamusisi. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. And it's time for The Real, where we get to have a topic of discussion and just share our 2 cents as well as your 2 cents on that particular topic. Now, the Uganda Police Annual Crime Report 2024 in regards to accidents recorded that 4,026, cases of road accidents in the year 2024 were recorded, and 25,000 cases of road accidents were recorded in the year 2023. And that saw about a 19% decrease of road accidents between the 2 years. But in the year 2024, 25,000 casualties, 808 casualties were recorded in the year 2024, and 24,728 casualties were recorded in the year 2023. Now, in the year 2022, 21,473 casualties were recorded in the year 2022. You can tell that from 2022 to 2023 to 2024, the number of casualties actually increases along the years. And just the past weekend, Rajiv Ruparelia passed on from a road accident when his car crashed and burnt at the Busabala flyover, and when he crashed a blockade on there. But also days after, on Monday, there was a report of a YY coach bus that crashed and burnt in Buikwe, seeing 3 people dead and over 30 casualties in hospital over this accident. Now, those 2 are one of the many accidents headed for a statistics report in the year 2025. And one would wonder, what is happening? What is happening? Why the rampant road accidents? Good morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning to you once again, and of course our viewer. Thank you very much for being with us on UBC TV. What we are discussing, or what we are going to discuss, is not good news.
Yes.
It's not good news because people's lives never remain the same. You see, what an accident does, it does not only affect you who has committed it, or those who have been part of the accident. I'm going to use, should I use it, should I leave it? Let me just give you an example. I recently buried a very promising young man. Not buried, but I'll use buried because he was cremated. Now, this young man had parents, had sisters, had brothers and a daughter.
And a wife?
Had a wife. Now, he was lost in an accident. He perished in an accident. But that wife's life will never remain the same. the daughter's life, despite being from a very posh family and rich, will never remain the same. That bonding of daddy will never be the same. The mother, much as she was strong during everything, her life will never remain the same. And when it comes to the father, his only hope to carry on, because he usually said this, and there are many interviews where he says, if I go, I've prepared everything, I've prepared my son. Now, if you survive, there are chances that maybe you have permanent body injuries, or during the time you're down in hospital. So what we are discussing doesn't leave people's lives the same. It leaves widows, it leaves orphans. It leaves parents who go to the grave with deep pain, because it is not normal for us for a parent to bury a son. And in Uganda we say, now, that said, to me, as Robert, what hurts me more, and Julie, I want you to help me look out for the meaning of the word accident. What is an accident? What annoys me and hurts me so much is that we end up calling these accidents. An accident has occurred. He died in an accident. But these are not accidents. There are not. These are acts of man. When we go to the causes, you listen to the causes. But what we call accidents in Uganda, you may find that only 10% of them are accidents. The rest are not accidents. What am I trying to say? The rest are avoidable.
All right. So you've asked me to look up the dictionary meaning of an accident, and it reads as a noun, it's an incident that happens unexpectedly and unintentionally, typically resulting in damage or injury. But it also has another meaning, and it's an event that happens by chance or that is without apparent or deliberate cause.
Thank you so much. I love the last one. Not when you set off and say, I'm supposed to be at UBC, latest 5:30 for the morning show. Now, you leave your home 5 minutes to and say, I drive a Golf, a VW, I drive a Subaru. No, I have a BMW motorbike, you know, have a passport. I will fly. Now, you fail to negotiate a corner, say at Arena Mall, or abruptly the traffic lights release a side you thought you'd be done. They knock you. Then here we say, oh, accident has claimed Robert.
So in other words, you suggest that it should have another term, another name.
Maybe you're
By
driving
law.
and a dog abruptly enters and you try to brake, you're on two wheels. A tree falls out of the blue, you know, an insane or mad person comes in. But where a person in Uganda will tell you, brakes aren't this, I have issues with my brakes. But I think I'll work on them during the weekend when I have time. Not when a person is drinking and you tell him, brother, you're drinking and drinking, but you're going to drive. For me, I even drive better when I'm a bit tipsy. You know? Not when people are on the road and they're not supposed to be on the road. And then you want me to say this, not when you have concrete bulkheads where countries are using, are they plastic or fiber, kind of. Not when you remove them today and tomorrow you place them back. And people are sure it is a drive-through. So, it is very sad that we're having statistics of people dying of preventable death, and we are terming this as accidents in our country.
Let's talk about corruption in traffic enforcement laws.
Now, for the time I've been in riding, there's one thing I've learned, that the tougher the penalty, the more fertile it is for corruption.
Okay.
When you increase penalties, most of these fines, and a person knows that if I'm given this cheaper price, called the express penalty, because it would be about 300 or something, and I can give this officer, and you see police officers are wise. They don't ask for much. Because if someone tells you, you've been over speeding, you're stopped, an officer says, give me 5,000. For Uganda, and that is 5,000. But remember, that person is going to be there for the next maybe 5 hours. If in an hour, he's able to get 6 people, 6 times 5 per hour that is there, and is there for 5 hours, how much has he gone home with? And because you've been giving little money, you don't see the reason why even you should cause an alarm. Because a man has saved you maybe 200,000 and you're giving 5,000. That's why some people who are specialized in driving public vehicles, they always have that money with them. Once they are stopped, he gets out of the car, goes laughing, either drops it down and says, officer.
And when you say that, it's somewhat in Uganda, it has now become a norm. I remember one time during my time at university, we were having a lecture, and our lecturer, out of conversation, she was narrating to us why she had come late, and she said that, oh, I was running late, and I decided to drive what they call kataka, driving by the roadside or by the pavements. And she said that, but I met a police officer, and I had to give him something, and she even and she freely talked about it without
because it's no longer. You see, one thing I learned in life: when abnormality takes over, the normal becomes the abnormal. Now in Uganda, conversation of I gave, we've normalized. It is no longer a strange thing. So for you who doesn't do it, you're the one who is abnormal. In an abnormal society, the normal are abnormal. The right ceases to be right, and the wrong turns to be right.
Now, how does the law help in this case? What laws do we have in place? Are they even implemented in the first place, or are we wasting time?
First, for traffic offenses, we have the laws, but implementation is a challenge because there is money attached to it. The corruption has gone very, very far. I must tell you, the corruption has gone very, very far that now it is very easy for someone to bypass the law because of money. And recently I saw a government moving to have some of these things digitalized. That now when you hit the traffic lights, a message will come on your phone that, hey, here you've made a mistake and this is the amount of money you're supposed to be paying. But as long as we have traffic officers, we may not have successful implementation of these laws. Because if you go on the road to impound vehicles with worn out tires, believe you me, these officers are human. And believe you me, Ugandans now giving traffic officers a bribe is not news. Actually now it is no longer, it is the traffic officers to save us, not us to save them. But remember, money tempts. Now, even if you have these laws, they may not work. Second, some police officers have become so inhuman that even where death is, they are willing to change but get money. Let's just take a look at our laws. Now, causing bodily injury or death through reckless driving. This is now, I'm reading the Traffic and Road Safety Act of 1998 that outlines penalties for causing accidents. Now, a person who causes death of any person, reckless driving of a motorcycle, trailer, engineering plant, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to imprisonment not exceeding 10 years. So if you kill someone, you commit an accident, may say kill someone, you're liable to imprisonment not exceeding 10 years. A person who causes bodily injury to any person by reckless driving of a motor vehicle, trailer, engineering plant, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 100 currency points or imprisonment not exceeding 3 years if that person has not died. So you're not arrested above 3 years. A person who causes an accident by reckless driving, okay, then a police, okay. So you see currency points, and a currency point, if we make some calculation, is 20,000.
Yeah,
one currency point is 20,000. So if I kill you, if I drive under the influence of alcohol, if I'm carelessly driving and I kill you, I knock you dead. Now, here I'm simply going to, if it is imprisonment, I'm not imprisoned beyond 10 years. Or if I'm told to pay 300 currency points, or both. But how many people are in the gallows for having caused an accident and killed a person?
Also, how many police officers are behind bars for taking bribes on the roads?
Yes, because when you look at the police annual crime report, traffic, and shows the fatalities and the people that died in these accidents, is that report, are those statistics in tandem with those in Ruzira or Chitalia? Because those statistics are not just for us to scream and say the situation is bad. If we analyze and match them, do they make sense? That if they tell you that the year 2023, 2024, the annual crime report, that maybe we lost, there were about 300 something people. Now, how many of these cases were taken to court? That is also another point. How many? Two, how many of these did we secure conviction and are facing sentences?
But you see, now what it paints is the fact that the issue of corruption in Uganda is not just for the traffic police. It's very underlying and needs to be dealt with from the root up to every system. Now, you'd wonder if passengers or not just passengers really, but road users, drivers, those who are not in the police, could say no to corruption, to briberies on the road. What exactly is supposed to be done to these police officers? Because many a times they are the ones who enforce, they are the ones who emphasize, who insist, which makes it normal that even road users are now using it as a norm. They'll know that, officer, let's say, officer, you know, that kind of language. But what exactly do you think the police should do, or the government altogether should do to handle their men in uniform to curb corruption on the roads?
First, we should sensitize the public, the road users, the drivers, that this is about you. Remember one time I covered a story where a certain bus of a certain company had committed an accident, but the survivors spoke of how they had been stopped previously by about 5 police officers. It was coming from Western Uganda. Now, this bus had been stopped. You're over speeding, then Chintu Chidogo, then it continues. But finally, the driver didn't make it and some passengers. Now, we need to first let the public. You see, enforcement without sensitization is useless. And I must say, this is the mistake that most of the times we've done. There is so much enforcement without matching sensitization. Now, out of ignorance, and sometimes you may think that people know these things, yet they don't know them. So that's why you'll find a border rider, I'm sorry to say, I'm not accusing them, but will have a helmet, a crash helmet, and they're not putting it on, but comfortably having it in front of the motorbike. Now, when they see a police officer, they put it on. Yet, it's very hard to find any of us in our fraternity, as the bikers in Uganda, doing such a thing. Because when you come in, the first thing we sensitize you about is why you should have a crash helmet. We have meetings even where we'll have those videos displayed, how crash helmet saved and what happens to you when you don't have a crash helmet or protective gear. Now, for drivers in Uganda, have they got enough sensitization that when you're driving and your tires are worn out, the friction on the tarmac and whatever, a tire can burst and you can overturn? Because let's also understand that very few go to driving schools.
That's true.
Very few Most of us, and you who is watching us, you know very well, you never went to a driving school. You have a permit or you don't have, but you're driving on our roads. But you've never had any training. You don't know road signage. You don't know, you know nothing. And with the coming of these automated vehicles, because previously, the manual ones, someone had to maybe go to a driving school, but now here where you just sit and take off, it becomes a problem. So first, sensitize Ugandans. This may seem obvious, but even they are not to the educated. What is the danger of speed? If you're flying.
You actually talk about sensitizing and going to driving school. And one would also think of the direction of driving school. How much more can the government emphasize one being on the road after having gone to driving school? Because many, like you've stated, do not go to driving school. They just process driving permits after learning easy and process and get one. But I think there is need to emphasize one having visited a driving school, as the same way job applications are, that for you to get a job, you must produce your testimonial or your transcript from university.
Government must tighten the grip of how a permit is given to someone. That there must be evidence of a driving school or even agent somewhere, because these are lives we are talking about. But also, when it comes to corruption, we should limit human-to-human communication. You see, that is one of the ways we can limit corruption.
Go electronic.
Go electronic. As long as a traffic officer still stands by the roadside and stops me and says, let me look at your permit, moves around, or let me look at your driving license, moves around my vehicle, then says your wipers. As long as I have to be chased, because one time I stubbornly did it, I have to be chased when I hit traffic lights. And sometimes I see wastage and risks. Someone jumps, a traffic officer jumps on a motorcycle, then runs after you. I've hit Ginger Road lights. Then you're getting me as I'm approaching Namasuba.
Wow.
Why the chase? I mean, what are you after? Ofachinensi. You get it? At the end of the day, either I commit an accident or you commit an accident, but chasing someone for violation of traffic lights. So, and remember, now when that person eventually gets you, you're paying higher.
Yeah.
So when we go electronic, this is going to do a lot of saving. That's why in some advanced countries, you will not see traffic officers there, here. So if we go electronic, that is why it has reduced corruption. Like some of the things, today you can get a passport just at the comfort of your home. You only have to go for the interviews, then go and pick your passport. But everything on your phone, you apply. But remember, before that, there was a lot of corruption. So going electronic, but also setting up a unit that can follow up. We have the PSU, that's the Professional Standards Unit. But it has issues. One, when it had just come in, I remember it was headed by someone, was it John Ndunguse or Ndunguse, I don't remember the other name. He was a senior police officer. I'm to say that now it's not headed by a senior. But it came with a lot of strength and gave us a lot of hope. Then after him, there's another gentleman, I remember had specs, Biamukam or something. Very soft, a born-again man there. He was good, but not biting. It became a second court. Rank and file issues came in. Today, PSU has weakened.
Now, Robert, quickly, let's also, as we start to wrap this conversation, let's also look at the role of us as passengers who use public service vehicles. What exactly are we supposed to do? Whilst we cannot control the drivers of these vehicles, what exactly can we do on our own, at least as a measure? We help ourselves as more help comes through.
First, I want to rebuke the statement that we cannot do anything. Let me tell you, these drivers know the law and they know your power. But because you're ignorant or you don't care, first you who is boarding, look at this vehicle. Sometimes there are obvious signs.
Evident DMC.
It's a DMC. The indicators are not anywhere. It is total a DMC. But you're choosing to put your life and the future of your children and your loved ones in the hands of this car. It's like if you're moving at night and you're going to board a border. Julie, do you just sit on any border that passes by? You either have someone you call and picks you, or you go to a certain stage. The way you're conscious, I've seen these party animals, the way they are conscious, let me call my border. Wait, let's wait for him. Let's be conscious. You're going in that taxi. You're going in that bus. And sometimes there are red lights, how the thing is starting. Push, you know? So you first observe that. Now, as a passenger, if you're using this public transport, have numbers. Police has numbers, some are toll-free numbers, that you call and report that this person is flying, not driving. 2, it is your right in that vehicle to speak to this person. Today I have social media. I remember one time there was a driver of a bus, I think was he eating while driving, and that went viral. Action was taken. That driver was suspended. Now, I've sat in some buses and you tell the driver, Chief, we are responsible people, please reduce speed. And someone from the back shouts, why didn't you drive your car?
Yes.
You
or
know?
even the driver himself. They will tell you, you buy your own car.
Oh, you buy your own car. Now, as the passengers, we need to be mindful of our lives and compel. If everyone says, Sebo, if you're going to drive at this speed, stop, I get out. Julie, when I get out, you get out. The other person gets out. But there is a way we've become complacent and morally also lost it, that if someone says, stop, I get out, the rest of us accuse that person. Not knowing, instead of joining him and saying, I'm also going out. I'm also going out. Definitely the person would adjust. But there is a way you are very complacent. Accidents maybe have become so normal. And now, you sit there taking you like your cow's going to a slaughterhouse, an abattoir. We need to get real.
Surely, indeed, we need to get real. And with that, we come to the end of this conversation. We have been looking at the increasing road carnage and what measures really can be put to reduce road accidents in Uganda. Take care, because at least it starts with you as it flows and splits into other people. Good morning, Uganda. Up next is GMU Tourism Express. We have business. We do have the agenda as well, so stick around.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, you can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear Chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling Chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
We're going to be talking about farming, but it's not me that's going to do that.
My name is Hava K. Luanga.
My name is Larry Charles K.
Let's go!
Mixed farm is a type of farming that involves growing crops and raising livestock. This is the spice garden and for the vegetables.
My first favorite spice has to be black pepper.
What's black pepper in Uganda?
Kamulali or mudagavu.
What? We're going to talk about the sechunga. We're going to see how big it is, as big as Larry's head. And then we're going to talk about the mangada. So we're going to get there. We have still so many farms to visit. And I would like to hear from you. This is the Little Farmer Show, and we are bringing coolness back to farming. See you!
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Road accidents are becoming a serious threat, and I actually happened to attend the National Cultural Heritage Conference, and there was this good line that was made by one of the key speakers, who is Dr. Esther. She said, one gentleman was asked, how many people would you want to die, to see die probably? So when you are driving carelessly on the road, you do not know who you're going to knock, and this person said 71 until they brought 71 people and collected them and put them before him, and he realized this was his family. It is until you notice or see the person that has been involved that you get to take this seriously. So let's get to use the road very responsibly so that we save lives, including our families and other people. Thank you for sticking on UBC. Good morning, and my name is Zakia Lucky. Yesterday we did discuss about photography, and I'm taking you back shortly to our very own whom we lost the late Sad Shots. There's a photo exhibition that is going around for you to take part and see how to come through for Sad Junior. The photo exhibition will be having some things that you can be a part of. You can see how to come through and support his family, how you can come through and, you know, be a part of his journey as, you know, one that was left behind. And it says, join us for a special photography exhibition celebrating the life and work of the late Sad Shots, whose images captured powerful stories and timeless beauty. Of course, honoring a legacy through the lens. This exhibition will be showcasing some of his most iconic pieces available for purchase, and all proceeds will go towards supporting his son's education, continuing the legacy of a father's vision through the future of Sad Junior. So please, on the 29th of May again, this very year at 10 a.m. at Inspire Cafe, Twed Towers, make sure that you be a part of this cause as, you know, we continue to let his legacy live on. As our world becomes increasingly interconnected, museums are facing a crucial question of how can we remain relevant and vibrant in communities that are rapidly evolving. So this morning we'll be discussing about the future of museums rapidly changing communities, and with me is our very own, who is Mr. Chibiri Gedin, and he's the head library and archives UBC, who is going to help us discuss this very topic. Good morning, Mr. Dean.
Good morning, Lucky.
Happy to have you on the show.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Yes, would like to know how your journey started in this field at UBC.
Oh, first of all, I want to thank Good Morning Uganda team for allowing me to be here this morning, and I greet all the viewers out there watching us now. I've been here for only 29 years.
Only?
I don't know how old you are. But that is when my journey started at Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. That was 1996 May, this exact month. I joined as a young man, but when I came to this broadcasting institution, my target was to be a presenter. And of course, I was enrolled as a continuity announcer. And of late, in modern broadcasting, we no longer have continuity announcers because we have graphics that can actually announce or give information about programs that are going to run the whole day or the program that is going to follow after another program. So that is how I started my journey. But when I finished university in 1999, I had majored in library and information science. I was enrolled in this same institution as an assistant librarian. So in this field, I began in 1999 after finishing my bachelor's degree at Makerere University. And since then, I've risen through the ranks from an assistant librarian to a full librarian, to a senior librarian, then to head of library and archives, because of course the archives section came into place when in 2005 when the UTV and Radio Uganda were merged as a corporation to make Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
There's a threat in the museums. You know, they've just come to start fading away. There are very few people that are trying to keep all these treasures that we used to have. And I attended the National Cultural Heritage conference previously, and we were challenged by where is the research going to come from, or if we start looking out for these things and we have not preserved or protected them, where are they going to come from? So I'm wondering, how can museums stay relevant in a world that is evolving or changing communities day by day?
Probably what we should understand, you, me, and the viewers out there, museums are part of the archives, the big lot of archives. But also, we need to, first of all, live a lifestyle that appreciates and respects keeping things, whether old or new. That's where it begins from. Naturally, Africans are oral traditionalists. For ages, they've depended on their mouth to carry information. You can't beat an African when it comes to talking. But believe me or not, unlike other parts of the world, where people respect keeping information, you move to places like countries in Asia, countries in Europe, in North America and Latin America, where people will store artifacts. They will keep buildings, they will keep technical tools, they will keep everything for so many years. And it has been part of their lifestyle. So what actually hinders us from keeping things starts from home. I would challenge you, you'd also challenge me, that if we paraded people who are here to bring their nursery books, just their nursery books. Me, my nursery was around 40 plus years ago. Yours may be 18 plus years ago. But it would be a challenge if you told someone, please bring your nursery book here. They will tell you, I don't have that book. So if you can't keep what belongs to you, how do you expect to respect something that you'll find elsewhere? So it begins at that level. But like I told you, we are good, and this is embedded on our DNA code. When it means talking, carrying something someone has talked, whether you had it when you were in nursery or what, you'll have it here. But it has its shortfalls. If you forget, then that's the end of it. So our friends outside there, in other places of the world, they realized that somehow the information may be distorted. So you'd rather have this information kept safe and sound by having records. That's how they initiated writing, the Egyptians. That's how they've initiated all these sorts of technology to make sure that information is kept as it is disseminated, as it is originated, which is still a challenge with us Africans.
That is true, and I think the safest way is to actually document these. We are still challenged in the same manner. You know, the person that is carrying this information might wake up and they are no more tomorrow. So how
they may even get sick.
That is true.
We've seen you have a friend or a relative, he or she is okay, and some of these challenges we meet them even when people have died. So someone cannot, the will is altered, all that kind of thing. So the most important thing is for us, yes, I'm not saying being oral traditionalist is wrong, you know, but let's at least get to know, appreciate that keeping a record is as important as keeping the word by mouth.
Yes, we even went too far by nursery. If you asked most of us for even high school records, we don't have any of that.
True.
But what are some of the roles that broadcasting archives like UBC are playing in this role in making sure that this information is stored?
To start with, there is a program Of course, in 2015, there was digital migration, and that meant that the old way of broadcasting using analog equipment or technology was outphased, and now we went digital. And that in itself meant that we also had to change what we had stored, the verse that had been stored in analog format from the inception of radio in 1954 and TV in 1963. Those are almost 50 years ago, before turning into digital. There has been a continuous process, much as it is a bit expensive, to make sure that what we have in stock in analog format is being transferred to the digital forms. UBC has around 80,000 still pictures from the 50s and 60s up to early 80s that are being digitized, both in photo format and negative format. Of course, that comes with a lot. Some are not in good shape, in good condition, so they have to go through what we call the digitization clinic process. And we have at least digitized around 20,000 of them. The process is still going on. We have acquired a vinyl machine. Have you seen do you know a vinyl machine?
No.
No. Have you seen DJs scratching?
Okay. Yes.
That because that's what you can understand. That is a vinyl player, and what they scratch is what we call a vinyl record. So in the 70s, 60s, there were many of them that were being used at Radio Uganda, and they have a lot of information. So management, senior management, and more so the MD, with friends from Australian university, somehow secured a machine, and we are transferring that. There's still work to be done, most especially when it comes to video material, because we have a lot of video material on Umatic formats. Those are tapes, Betacam formats, VHS, that need to be also digitized.
Talking about digital transformation, how do you see this influencing the future of archives in Uganda?
Yeah. Digital, you say transformation.
Yes.
Of course, there is a lot of impact, not only here in the broadcasting industry, but also outside. And that in itself has a lot of impact on even the museums. Why? If you check now, we are part of ICOM. ICOM is the International Council of Museums, where UBC is affiliated, Uganda Museum is affiliated, and there is a program of making sure that virtually you can access content in museums.
Yeah, that is true. And when we go back to the young people, as we, finalize this, that are passionate about preserving these, what is it that you can tell them?
My message to the young people is just how we began. That because they are passionate in other things, everyone is TikToking, meaning that when it comes to IT, they're top notch. Everyone is WhatsApping. People should have the mindset to keep what they are using now, so that it can be referred to by their children, by their grandchildren and their future generations.
That's been a very interesting topic. Everyone should use what you have now to keep it so that the future generation gets to, make use of it. So we are still on Good Morning Uganda, and stick around as we go in for the business segment with Julie Natama.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Buza Kamiso now, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Morning Uganda, welcome back from JMU Tourism Express. Time for business. My name is Julie Nantama Musisi, and starting off with President Museveni, who has rolled out affordable loan packages aimed at improving the livelihoods of market vendors and border riders. Now, this was spoken on behalf of the president at Kalerwe Market on Friday. Senior Presidential Advisor Moses Byaruhanga launched the initiative, which will be implemented through the Microfinance Support Center. Under the new Katale loan scheme, vendors can borrow with no collateral, no registration fees, and a low interest rate of just 8% per year, meaning a 1 million shilling loan attracts only 80,000 Uganda shillings in interest annually. Border riders will also benefit from tailored loans, allowing them to pay just 7.2 million shillings for a motorcycle worth 6 million, fully insured and with no GPS deposit required. Byaruhanga warned KCCA enforcement officers against harassing vendors and called on the public to record any unlawful confiscation of goods. He also clarified that homeowners not renting or doing business on their property should not pay property tax. And additionally, Kalerwe Women Vendors Sacco and Market Luggage Carriers each received a 5 million shilling boost, with further pledges made to support Kawempe Boxing Club. That is so good for them. Good news for them, and looking forward to the trend and trajectory of development on their end. But moving on to matters UNBS, the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, in partnership with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development at the National Renewable Energy Platform, has convened a one-day sensitization workshop targeting micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, operating in the clean cooking technologies and fuels subsector. The workshop was held at the UNBS headquarters in Boyogerere, and the event aimed to combat the growing influx of substandard clean cooking products on the market, products that pose serious health, safety and economic risks to consumers. This initiative aligns with UNBS's mandate to protect the public from hazardous and poor quality goods. With more Ugandans adopting clean cooking solutions such as pressure cookers, gas and improved stoves, there is increasing concern over opportunistic traders flooding the market with uncertified products. These products often lack safety guarantees and come with no warranty and traceability. Stakeholders caution the public against purchasing clean cooking products from unauthorized distributors, especially those without permanent business addresses or certification, highlighting the lack of consumer recourse if the products fail. Participants, many of whom were visiting the standards body for the first time, were also given a guided tour of UNBS's internationally accredited laboratories, where product testing and certification are carried out to ensure safety and compliance. Now, in Busega, a devastating fire broke out at the Muzirango supermarket in Busega near the Shell petrol station, and which is adjacent to the Busega roundabout. The blaze raged for nearly 8 hours, destroying a significant amount of property, including children's toys and various household items. Police firefighters, assisted by local volunteers, worked tirelessly to contain and eventually extinguish the flames. The exact cause of the fire remains under investigation. Now, moving on to what the forex rates look like as of 7th May 2025, the US dollar opened at 3,654.91 and closed in at 3,664.91. Selling by midday, it was at 3,654.91, maintained value there, and was selling at 3,664.91. It closed in at 3,655.05 and was selling at 3,665.05. The British pound was buying at 4,880.58 and was selling at 4,893.94, and the euro was buying at 4,150.30 and selling at 4,161.64. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.30, gained value there from the last date, and was selling at 28.37. The Tanzanian shilling continues to have dropped value from 1.36 to 1.35, buying and selling at 1.35, and the South African rand continued to gain its value to 200.54, buying and selling at 201.09. Well, that's it from today's JMU Business. Up next is the agenda. Good morning.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Buza Commissioner, enhancing tax education and bringing it closer to the taxpayers. Many Ugandans have questions about the taxes they pay to URA.
When we come at revenue, they tell us to clear chitenge at 10,000. And when we are selling chitenge, we sell it at 17. So we don't know whether we are working or not.
Understanding your tax obligations can help you grow your business and avoid unnecessary losses. Now, you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
We're going to be talking about farming, but it's not me that's going to do that.
My name is Hava K. Luanga.
My name is Larry Charles K.
Let's go!
Mixed farm is a type of farming that involves growing crops and raising livestock. This is the spice garden and for the vegetables.
My first favorite spice has to be black pepper.
What's black pepper in Uganda?
Kamulali or mudagavu.
What? We're going to talk about the sechunga. We're going to see how big it is, as big as Larry's head. And then we're going to talk about the mangada. So we're going to get there. We have still so many farms to visit. And I would like to hear from you. This is the Little Farmer Show, and we are bringing coolness back to farming. See you!
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Thank you so much for tuning in to UBC TV, here to inspire you. My name is Julie Nantaba Musisi, and it's time for the agenda, where we get to discuss topics, but with experts, where we learn and relearn. Now, during his presidency, the 44th POTUS, His Excellency Barack Obama initiated the Young Africa's Leaders Initiative, also known as Signature, to support the next generation of young African leaders. Now, today on the agenda, we are discussing how YALI empowers Ugandan youth leadership, especially in innovation and community impact. And with me is two amazing guests from YALI. Faith Myra, the president of YALI Initiative, the Ugandan chapter. She is actually the 7th president of YALI, the Ugandan chapter, and Mr. Moses Obi, who is the chairperson, YALI Cooperative Society, the financial arm of YALI, the Ugandan chapter, and he also happens to